out. So welcome everyone. Claudia, your National Executive Director, here with Leah Privet. I have the honor and pleasure to say that the #1 new consultant at Pampered Chef is part of the Bullet Train and the Woods Warriors. Like, how cool is that? And that a lot of you guys have been asking for Leah, and Leah is getting a little bit bombarded with friend requests and messages. So please refrain from asking her or friend requesting her. We're going to record this video and you guys can share it with your team. And at the end of the day, it's just that Leah's getting a lot more no's than everybody else. So therefore, she's probably booking a lot more parties. So just to give you guys some numbers of what we're talking about today, okay? So Leah joined in May. And in her first month in business, she did 10 parties, right? You're like, okay, that's pretty much what we say, right? 4 parties a week. And then the next month in June, she submitted 41 parties. Then she was like, let me do a little bit more. In July, she submitted 57 parties in 1 month. In August, she submitted 55 parties. In September, she submitted 72 parties, okay? And in October so far, she's already submitted 34 parties. What, right? Crazy, crazy, crazy. So she, in her 6 months, 6 months in business, okay? New consultants, I'm talking to all of you guys. You too can have this, right? Anybody can have this. She submitted 269 parties. She sold a total of $139,000 in spatulas. Crazy, right? Okay, so I just want to make sure you guys understand who's talking here today. And the other day I saw her on the list as the #1 new consultant in the entire Pampered Chef company. And I'm just like super excited. I've had the pleasure to chat with her a little bit here and there. And she is definitely one of the sweetest people. So Leah, I have a couple questions for you today. And then go ahead, if you guys have questions, put them in the Q&A button at the bottom or in the chat. As long as the chat doesn't blow up, I'll make sure to keep an eye out on it. So Leah, before we get started, tell us a little bit about you and why you got into Pampered Chef and all the other things that you do in your busy life.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me today, Claudia. So a little bit about me. I am a full-time nurse practitioner here in my hometown, and I do work 4 days a week at that. I've been married to my husband for 20 years. We have 4 boys, and they are very active boys. We travel baseball, and so we are in different cities and towns every weekend. So when I hosted my first party with Nicole Staples, she's my direct upline, back in May, she reached out to me just like you guys have trained us to do several times throughout our party. And of course, the first time I was like, no, I don't have time. And the second time I was like, no, I don't have time. And finally, at the end of my show, and I had it was a $2,900 party. I earned $690 of free Pampered Chef. It was so much fun picking out free stuff. I said, okay, I'm going to give it a try, only because it was fun picking out stuff and I want other people to have that chance. And so I said, oh, if I sell or make $100 or $200 a month, then, that's just something that I didn't have before. So that's kind of what reeled me in, but I did turn her down like 2 or 3 times throughout the party. And finally, she kind of kept on me and I gave in. So I started in May and I have loved every second of it. So
I love it. I love it. I love it. So I guess our first question would be, how did you get started? So your first month you had 10 parties and then you like quadrupled that the next month. So what did you do as a new consultant to get started? Or if you had a suggestion for anybody that wants that many parties, like what did you do to get your first parties booked?
Well, just like she had encouraged me, I was like, 4 parties, I got to get 4 parties. And so I had 3 hosts that had decided that they would host a party for me during mine. And Nicole was like, you can have those 3. If you just start, you can have those 3. And so I found my 4th one and just kind of got rolling on it. And I got so blessed. My second week of hosting, I had a host that was, he was from out of state and was actually a travel agent. And I'm telling you, I booked like 6 parties off of her parties. And so it really ramped up from there. And so I went to, 6 parties a week. And then I thought, it's really not much harder to do 6. So I went to 8. And then I just kept titrating up. And, as far as setup, it takes a little more time. This week I'm running 23. It takes more time for setup and a little more interaction. But it's something that's completely manageable. I have block times where I work on that stuff. I don't work on it a whole lot of course, during work hours. So aside from lunch from 8 to 5 on Monday through Thursday, I just don't, do a whole lot other than my present job. But I have block times, morning and lunch and evening time to tribute just to Pampered Chef. And I don't miss out. I was at a football game last night and I didn't pick up my phone. And so I'm not going to miss out on things with my children. But I've just been very fortunate and very successful. So
yeah, so 21 parties in 1 week, right? So, and I love what she said. I hope you heard that, right? She was like, well, they said 4. So what's 2 more? I'll do 6. So it's like, well, what's another 2 more? I'll do 8, right? So I hope you guys do that as well. We do teach at least a minimum of 4, right? But once you're comfortable, you're like, let me add 1 more, let me add 1 more, let me add 1 more. So did you start with your friends list? Is that where you got your first couple bookings and then worked from there?
I did. I sure did. I green lighted just like I had, been taught. And and then I started rolling off of parties, and I never green light anymore. They just kind of fall in your lap when you're running that many parties. If you can ever get to that point, it just kind of, I send lots of booking messages, don't get me wrong, but I don't ever ask a friend to host anymore. It's completely out.
That is where everybody should go, right? We always want to make sure that we use our friends list to get the initial bookings, and maybe every now and then when we fall a little short, but that we really work the parties to get bookings from parties. So as a new consultant, which you're still a new consultant, anybody under 12 months, I say you're a new consultant, what system did you follow to get started with your virtual parties? Like, how were you trained?
Nicole did a one-on-one training, and I still do that with all of my sign-ons. And we did a one-on-one training. She walked me through the process of everything. Of course, sent me the Google Docs that you nationals have made, which are absolutely life-saving. So thank you to the hard work that you guys do for that. But walking through those processes, and I still send those to every new consultant I have. I say, spend a couple days. I want you reading through this, and then we're going to set up this time, and we're going to walk through the process of everything together. And then, of course, in my downline, I'm always finding new ways. A couple of weeks ago, I started some flash events in my parties, and they were really successful. So I've jumped on with my group, trying to get some people to try to, work on those. And so there's just lots of different things. And as I come up with things that help me and myself, then of course I just try to share that. So everybody can be successful. They just got to work at it.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit, somebody wants to know, so what do you do? Maybe give us some tips. What do you do to get people in the party? Like, what is kind of like your goal to make sure you have people in the party? And then what do you do to get bookings from parties?
Okay. So host coaching, very important. Get your host involved, because if your hosts are silent in their parties, people aren't going to join the parties. People are not going to interact. So that's the big thing. Is I will send commonly, if I have a party that's slow and has 15 people in the party, my goal is to get every group to 50 members. The more people in the party, the more sales you're going to get. And so that's my goal every time. And if I have one lagging behind, I'll just shoot them a message. Hey, look, we really want as many people in your party. If you have 5 minutes for me, send out your booking or your Facebook link to 15 friends, and let's get them in your party, whatever it may be. So sending those host coaching and getting those people involved are important. I always on either Fridays or Saturdays, I start parties I set up on Wednesdays. And so my people start adding under 7-day parties, but my people start adding all their friends on Wednesdays. And so I always send a remind for all those people that maybe missed the notification or they didn't see the invite to the party. I send a remind to everyone that didn't accept either on Friday or Saturday. That way it's still at the beginning of the pre-party and they still have plenty of time to join in. And so I send those, and I think that is very important to getting all these people in the party. And so setting reminds or sending those reminds is important. And yes, it's full time consuming and it's click button, click button, click button, but it really does help both those members in the group. So that's kind of as far as that goes. Booking messages. Did you ask me about that already? Was that?
Yeah, and actually remind me later, we have a automated process to send those reminders out that does it for you. So I'm going to tag you in a video so you can start utilizing that.
Perfect, because I've been sending them in. In fact, I have been paying my child to do it. I have a 17-year-old. So he sends booking messages and I have him send those reminds for me because it is a little time consuming. It's kind of a family business here. I have my husband doing things. I have my kids doing things. If I'm paying you, I might as well get something out of it. So my mother, I've started utilizing her to send some booking messages and make comments within my parties and things like that. I'm always very involved if it's just a like or a love a comment or just reply something back real quick. Rarely does someone or a guest in a party make a comment that I do not have some response to it.
Yeah, love it. And that's smart, right? As you get a lot of business, as you grow into your Pampered Chef business, there should always be something like, oh, can I ask my kids to do that? Or can I, who can I involve and ask them for help? So that's very smart. So yeah, so then bookings from parties, what tips do you have or what are some things you follow to make sure you get, do you make sure you have enough bookings or what's kind of like your goal per party?
My goal every week is to book as many parties or book as many new parties as parties I have running. So this week I have 21 running or 22. I can't remember. I'd have to look. My goal is to get that many again. I am actually booked out with 23 parties a week through November 20th already. So it's Claudia's like, you got to start onboarding and giving some of those parties away. And I'm like, I'm working. I actually have 2 that are signing up already this week, had 3 last week. So I'm trying to do that. Finding the time to teach these people to do it right is my big thing. And I may be kind of selfish, but I don't want a lot of kick grabbers. I want people that want it as much as I do. And so I'm kind of selective in who I reach out to the most. And maybe that's not right, but you may have somebody that's not, because like I turned down, but those that interact in their parties and really do well in their parties, I'm trying to snag them as consultants. But back to booking messages, on usually Wednesday, either late Tuesday evening or Wednesday, I send a friend request to everybody in the parties. Initially, I was completely against that because I didn't want all these people in my private, Facebook page. But I've kind of gotten over that. It's a business. I got to do it. And so I invite everyone in every party. And so that literally is clicking buttons too. I mean, it's really easy to do and it's really fast. That doesn't take long at all. So I do that usually on Tuesday night and Wednesday. And what I'm watching for are those notifications to fall in that say so-and-so accepted your friend request. When they do, and I know they're on, I shoot them a booking message immediately, because if they're on, they're more likely to say yes than if they get it 2 days later, because they think I'm not paying attention at that point. So that's when I send my booking messages. I like to do it, at least 5 or 6 days into my party, just because I don't want them not to help their friend and not buy something in that party. And a lot will still sign up to host and not buy anything, and that's okay too. But I don't do it super early in the party, just simply because I like to give the host that I'm working for right then the chance to get the sale as well. So that's usually when I send those. And then I always, anytime somebody makes a purchase, hold down and send a text message off of that email. So I hold that down and the phone number down, and I shoot a text message. Thank you so much for your order. Listen, you can help your so-and-so host, your friend, if you would like to book a party with me, and that kind of thing. So I always send those booking messages off of orders. So.
Okay. And so tell me a little bit, it looks like, right, it sounds like you have goals every week that you want to hit. Do you ever have cancellations, parties that don't qualify, hosts that ghost you?
Yes. On occasion, and in fact, the last couple of weeks, obviously, COVID in our community is kind of ramping up a little bit. So, and in our surrounding communities all around. But anyway, I have maybe one or two a week that like I need to. I never accept I'm canceling my party, and so my reach back to that, they're like, I can't do my party. Then I'm like, okay, well, I want so and so to get their reward. So how about we book it for this week or this week, and give them those two options. Because if you just say, well, when's good for you, then they're not ever going to probably book. So just give them the option, move that date forward. And so that's kind of my rule of thumb as far as people that cancel or want to reschedule as far as that go. But the last few weeks I've had a couple, and that's why I've been booking 23 to 24, is so that I still have over 20 if I have a couple that don't ghost. I have had, actually, I counted the other day, I have had 3 ghosts in all of those parties, 3 people that never joined the party, that never did anything. So I've just been pretty fortunate with that.
Yeah, love it. Okay. So question, are you using a posting service?
Absolutely use Post My Party. Love it, love it. And they have been really good. I am so nervous about Facebook jail because I'm running so many parties. And so I do spend a lot of time on my templates and I make them very unique. And when I'm running 20 parties, I'm running 5 templates at a time. So that's 4 per template. And so I'm always communicating, okay, well, can you look at my last week's and can you let me know if you feel like things are looking okay? And they've been really good. I love Post My Party.
Okay.
It's a time saver.
Yeah. So somebody wants to know about your flash event. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So about 3 weeks ago, I was looking for something different, and sales were still okay, but I had probably 5 or 6 parties that week that were still like less than $100 in sales. And so I decided I'm going to do this flash event. I'm going to try it and see what it is. And I put a message out to my host and said, hey, the ones that were kind of on the struggle bus that week, I said, I've come up with a little thing. It's just something new, and I'd like to give it a try. If you can give me 1 hour, one night this week. And I had 2 people that week, and one of them is a consultant with me now. I think she's on here, Amber Shepherd. She ran the flash party. And so what I did is I came up with the verbiage and sent it to her, and she texted groups of friends that were either in the party or not in the party. It didn't matter. She texted groups of 10 to 15 and said, hey, I'm having a Pampered Chef party and I'm going to host a flash event. What it entails is 15 minutes of your time on Thursday night at 7 p.m. And I'm going to send 15 pictures of Pampered Chef products, and then you're going to have 1 hour to place your order. And when you do, whoever places the order is going to go into a drawing for, I think I gave a brownie pan that night or something like that. So she did that, and once a minute, she sent a picture. And some of those pictures were one single item. Some of those pictures had 5 Pampered Chef items on it. And in that message, I also said, if you have a wish list or you have things that you want, go ahead and have those things. It doesn't have to be things that I present. It can be anything. And then just make sure you place your order in that hour. And when you do, then she's going to give away a gift. And I don't remember, but she had like over $460 just in that 1 hour. And I had one other one that did almost 800 in that 1 hour. And so it was an easy, good way to commit friends to buying quickly. And so it was successful. I don't do it every week. If my parties are going smooth, it is more work because I had her add me to the text group. Once she gets the group of friends that say, yes, I want to do it, then she puts them all in one text group and I did it. So it is another hour of my time that I'm interacting with them. And, I will post, 15 minutes left to order or 10 minutes left to order. Hey, the countdown's on, that kind of thing. So it did require a little bit more of my time, but it was definitely worth it for that host to be able to get her rewards boosted and those kind of things. So it's just kind of something to help them. And it, of course, helps you.
Yeah, and it sounds like you kind of took, your Facebook party and the 15-minute parties and kind of like combined them. So pretty brilliant. But what I hope that you guys are hearing right now is that she doesn't take no for an answer. She knows her goals. She knows what she's got to do. and you just figure it out along the way, right? Like what else can I do? So tell us a little bit about overcoming objections. So do you get a lot of people like, oh, no, thank you, or do you accept no's, or how do you try to get them to agree to a date?
Of course, you're going to get lots of ghosting, people that just don't respond to you. With those people, I try to follow up in about 3 to 4 days and just say, if they don't respond at all, just saying, hey, the party's getting close to the end, and I don't know if you got my message or not, but I just wanted to make sure that that, I'd love to help you host a party, and it will definitely be helping her achieve another reward. And so I usually try to do a catchback if they don't say anything. Of course, you have those sometimes blunt and rude. I hate these things. Don't message me again. And of course, those are no, just take them off the list. Don't even consider. And then you have those that will respond, thanks for asking me, but are just really so busy. I don't really have time right now. And so those people are the ones that I don't let go typically. I will shoot a message back again. And my notes section of my iPhone is full of my common threads because I will just copy it and I will paste it from my notes section. And it's something simple like, I understand, things are really busy right now, and I would love for you to still be able to help Amber with her party. I would be happy to do a future booking. January in the years past has offered double rewards. Maybe they'll do it again, or a new line will launch in March. Would you be interested in a party then? And you'd be surprised at how many people will shoot back, well, I can probably do it in January. I mean, I think I probably got 15 parties in January already, just by shooting that comment. And so don't always, those people that say, I'm just too busy, or I love Pamper Chef, but I just don't want to do a party right now, or I just did a Norwex party last week, or whatever. Shoot back something else to try to reel them in, even if it's a month out or 2 months out. Get them on the book.
Yeah, great tip. And for anybody listening right now, you do want to book out, right? So you don't want to wait. If they say not right now, say, can I follow up with you in January? Then you follow up with them in January. By the time they book, it's February, and your January is gone, right? So this is very important for, especially right now, to make sure you book first week in January and first week in December, and definitely first week in January as well. Okay, so how many days do you run your parties, and how many posts do you make a day?
My parties set up on Tuesday nights. They're ready to enter the parties on Wednesday. So they start invites on Wednesday, and the party link is listed. So some people start getting orders then, but typically pre-party from Friday to Sunday. And then I party from Monday to the following Saturday. And I close those at Saturday at noon, unless I always offer an extension through Saturday and Sunday. And what that does for me is it gets 2 weekends for those people to shop. A lot of people are busy during the week, and by the time they get home from work, they're cooking supper, and then they lay down and they look at their Facebook, and then it's time to go to bed. So, sometimes they have a little more free time on the weekends. The other thing that does for me is it allows them to have 2 paydays. A lot of companies get paid on Fridays, so you never know where that's going to hit. And some people truly do wait for paydays. So that's why I run 7-day parties, and they've worked for me. That's what my upline did, and it's been successful for her, and it's successful for me. So that's kind of what I've done.
Awesome. Okay, we have one more question, and then I have one more question for you too. Where are you getting your booking words from?
A lot of that came from, obviously, the Google documents that you guys have made. Of course, I've tweaked them here and there. And so I just kind of, I don't know, I'm a talker. So it just kind of comes natural. In fact, I have a couple of consultants that, are texting me and say, I don't know what to say here. Give me something to say. So I've gotten really good at holding the microphone and just talking it instead of texting everything out. But I help a lot of times with verbiage. It just kind of comes natural. And so I just kind of tweaked it to make it sound interesting and appealing to the people you're drawing in. So.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so just so you guys know, I asked her for permission if I could use it, but just since May, since Leah joined, she has made $50,000 in commission, okay? Cash, okay? Some people don't even make that all year working full time, right? So her highest 2 checks were $12,000 for 2 months. That is like life changing, right? So, however, I know you work full time, right? So speak to us, or talk to everybody that works full time right now. Like it sounds, I hope you guys are hearing it. It sounds like she's very organized. She knows what she's doing on Monday. She knows what she's doing on Tuesday, right? You got a system down. That's what I'm hearing you say. And it sounds like you're following some kind of routine or some kind of schedule. So what kind of time management tips do you have for everyone that might want to do more or that's struggling with finding the time to do all the things?
So time management is important. I have lots of sticky notes all in my calendar. I am a hands-on person. I keep a planner, and that's where I keep everything there. And sometimes I find myself making a sticky note that says, "Hey, check template so and so this person," because something was a little off, and so I'm writing sticky notes to remind myself to do things. But time management's super duper important to me because I don't want to take away from my family time. And so I try to get up in the morning, spend 30 to 40 minutes making comments from stuff the evening before. I go ahead and send my host coaching out before I get to work. Usually that sends around 7:30 or 7:40. And then I do a little bit during my lunch break at work. And then in the evening time, by the time I come home and get supper fixed and everything, I will probably spend about another 40 minutes when I lay down in bed, just trying to catch up on stuff. And that's pretty much a routine Monday through Thursday for me. On Fridays, my kids are in school, and so it's kind of more of a work day. I'm following up on, I make also on sticky notes, a list of people that have said, check back with me, or, whatever, for that week's parties. And I have 8 that I haven't gotten to today. So I've got to message those people and get them booked because they weren't a certain guest I'm in. And so I've got to do a little bit of reeling in on those people. So I work on those on Fridays, of course, changing my, party names to make sure they say one more day, and, lots of different things. I just have systems. So Fridays more from 8 to 3, I do more work with Pampered Chef. And then Friday evening, it's family time. I don't do a whole lot. And then just periodically throughout the weekend, if my crew's deer hunting, then I may spend more time on it than what, I would if they're at home. It just kind of varies with time, but time management's important. And it's just, when you run that many parties, it does take time. And so everybody always asks how much time in my parties. I have this question and answer thing. Ask me questions, and that's one of the common things is how much time a week do you spend on Pampered Chef, or how much time do you spend on? I'm like, well, 36 hours at my regular job. But this, I would veer to say that I probably spend 8 to 10 hours a week, probably. And to me, that's a very good income for 8 to 10 hours a week. So I've been very.
I think everybody's gladly gonna take that. I think they would all work 40 hours a week for that income too. Right? So I love it. Okay. Well, listen, we are almost at time. So I'm just going to ask you one last thing that I didn't text you yet. But if you had to motivate or inspire consultants that maybe, had some ghost parties, some parties that didn't go well, or just aren't having the success that they're looking for, if they wanted to jumpstart and they wanted to have the success that you have, what are some tips that you would give those people?
Don't give up. That's the big thing. Even when you have a group or a week where sales are down or hosts aren't involved, work that much harder. If you don't get something for nothing. And so if you don't put time into it, if you don't work hard at it, then you're probably not going to be real successful at it. My dad always taught me that. So that's kind of me. I've never done anything halfway. And so if you do it halfway, then you're going to get halfway results. If you give up, then it's not going to be successful. So you just have to push that much harder, send that many more messages, send that many, reach out that many more times. But it's just it's a job, but you've got to find time to have fun with a job. And so I love the end of it. I always send little personal messages to all my hosts. Every single time I'll send a little voice message and say, I'm so excited you got this free in your party, and just make it personal. I love to see what they end up picking out. And so you gotta make it fun. If you don't make it fun, then it's a job, and it's not, you're not in it for the right reason if it's just a job.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Well, and the voice clip is a very, very good tip, right? Follow the system, follow the Google Docs, like Leah said, but the voice clips, the little tweaks here and there, make your personality shine and own your business, right? All right. Well, Leah, I can't, guys, give her a little round of applause. Thank you in the chat. Thank you so much. I know you're super, super busy, so I totally appreciate you taking 30 minutes to chat with us. And I can't wait to see what else you do, because this is pretty impressive. You already earned a trip. You made like full-time income. You earned all the rewards. I mean, yeah, let's go to the Bahamas, right? All right.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, Leah. Bye,
All
everyone.
right. Thank y'all.